So, Spider-Man is no longer a part of the MCU. What the actual shit, guys? Hi guys, Dark Magic 96 here. And in case you guys haven't heard the news yet, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is no longer a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Apparently, Disney and Sony have had a falling out in regards to their contract over the Spider-Man rights, and they couldn't come to an agreement, so now Sony's just taking Spider-Man back and saying, too bad. For those of you that don't know the original terms to the contract, Disney was supposed to have like a 5% stake in Spider-Man, and in exchange for that 5%, Sony would allow them to use Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's how he managed to appear in Civil War, Avengers, his own movies, all that other stuff. And it's pretty clear to everybody that Tom Holland's Spider-Man has become a huge part of the MCU since he pretty much came into it. He basically became Iron Man's apprentice, and after Tony died, it's a lot of weight put on to Tom Holland's Spider-Man to try and replace, or not replace, because you can't replace Iron Man, but to kind of like fill the void left by Tony Stark. And for those of you that haven't seen Far From Home, they kind of do a lot of that. Like, they show Tom Holland's Spider-Man struggling with the loss of Tony Stark and having to try and fill these massive shoes that everybody is like, oh, well, you gotta go do this, you're blah, 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 you're an Avenger. And this kid's just like not ready to be the next Tony Stark. But the way that they did that movie was very well done, and it really got everybody really invested into Spider-Man, and it was the first film after Endgame, and it kind of all gave us like a kind of, things are gonna be okay. Well, things are not gonna be okay, because if this standoff between Sony and Disney holds up, then we're not going to get to see him in the MCU anymore. We're not going to get to see him fill the void of Tony Stark. So basically, Disney wanted like a 50-50 stake in Spider-Man. There are more recent reports now that are coming out, I guess, where it says that they changed it to wanting a 35% stake, or looking at least a 30% stake. Sony, which counts Spider-Man as one of its only reliable money-making franchises, even though they continuously screw it up, said no. But before both sides walked away, talks had gone to the top level, with Rothman and CEO Tony Vinciquerra on Sony's side, and Disney Studios co-chairman Alan Horn and Alan Bergman involved. It's just a bad agreement all around. It's bad for both sides. I mean, I don't understand what either side is thinking at this point. They really need each other. Marvel definitely needs Spider-Man. He's become such a huge part of the Avengers. A lot is actually riding on Tom Holland's Spider-Man for the Marvel Cinematic Universe to continue. So if Disney doesn't come to a compromise, they're going to lose out on a lot of money, because I just have a feeling that the Marvel movies are just going to start to... they're not going to be good, because they're missing a core part of their storytelling. And Sony, come on. You guys have screwed up pretty much all of the Spider-Man except for Into the Spider-Verse. But that was only one movie, and I'm sure given enough time you'll probably screw that up too. I mean, you're screwing it up pretty bad with Tom Holland's Spider-Man right now. One of the more entertaining headlines that I saw was, Spider-Man standoff. Why Sony thinks it doesn't need Kevin's playbook anymore. Because, you know, Spider-Man 3 and it's just so great. So great. Same thing with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 2. Great job, guys. Just all around, great job. It's just, I don't understand how they're going to continue to do this. Somebody's going to have to break. I don't expect this to actually last. I think it's just a game of chicken that both sides are playing in order to get money. So, I just don't get what Sony's... I know I'm ranting, but I don't get what Sony's doing. I mean, their highest grossing movie of all time was Spider-Man Far From Home. Like, Kevin Feige and Marvel and Disney have pretty much given them life back into their Spider-Man franchises that they just kept screwing up. And now Sony's just like, no, we don't need you guys anymore. We're gonna do this on our own and it's gonna be just as good, even though we're removing a character from an established storyline and pretending that everything that he just went through in the first 2 movies and all the other Marvel movies it just never happened. Just forget it. It's not real. It was all a dream. And it's just, I don't get what they're doing. So, there's actually been, a lot of stars are actually upset about it, obviously, for, reasons. And I think it's kind of funny that, 2 of the people that have been have spoken out about it so far have been Ryan Reynolds and Jeremy Renner. So, for those of you that don't know, Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool was owned by Fox, and Disney just recently bought Fox. So a lot of people were hoping that Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool would interact in a future film at some point. Because in the comics, Deadpool and Spider-Man have like this weird and awesomely entertaining dynamic with each other. And I'm pretty sure a lot of fans were just waiting for that to happen. So one thing that everybody keeps looking to Ryan Reynolds for, because he was the one that brought back Deadpool from the abyss and actually got it into a movie that turned into a blockbuster. So because Ryan Reynolds was able to do that, there have been people who are like, Ryan Reynolds, you saved Deadpool, please save Spider-Man. Ryan, you have more power than any of us, please do something. Like, Ryan Reynolds is just supposed to magically fix everything in the universe. I mean, I know he does, but if only. And Ryan Reynolds actually responded with, someone asked him, can we get a Spider-Man and Deadpool movie now? And he said, you can, but you can only see it in my heart. And so people are pretty upset about this all around, because that's a huge prospect that's being lost out on there too, is the Deadpool and Spider-Man movie that everybody was pretty sure was going to happen at some point. Jeremy Renner also spoke up about it. He said, hey, Sony Pictures, we want Spider-Man back too. At the real Stan Lee, at Marvel, please, thank you. And so a lot of people are like saying, yay, thank you for speaking up. This is so awesome. Please save us. So I'm going to keep you guys updated as best as I can on this Sony's Disney standoff. I don't expect it to actually last because both companies have so much to lose if they decide to be stubborn as hell. I'm pretty sure it's just a game of chicken. Both sides are pretty much to blame here. It's just a stupid thing that they should be fighting over so much money. And it's not just Sony's fault. I mean, everybody's getting on Sony and all this other stuff because, they keep screwing up Spider-Man and they wouldn't take the deal. But Disney is also kind of at fault here. I mean, Disney has already bought, everything. They have Star Wars, they have Fox, they have Marvel. Just so many things. It's not like they need a ton more money. They could just let Sony be and just keep the 5% stock that they have. They don't need to do 50-50. Just let Sony have Spider-Man, or just let Sony have the money for Spider-Man, and you guys keep raking in all the dough that Spider-Man brings into the MCU. So, it's not just Sony's fault, it's also Disney, because Disney wants to take over the world. So in a way, kind of respects Sony, but at the same time, Sony, come on. You guys definitely haven't had a good run of Spider-Man movies. Granted, Into the Spider-Verse was really good. For those of you who haven't seen Into the Spider-Verse, totally go and watch that. But I'll try and keep you guys updated as best as you can. It looks like Sony is saying that many of the stories have been mischaracterized and are squaring much of the blame on Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige's workload. In a rare public statement, Sony released a thread on Twitter late last night discussing the widely circulated and contentious news. The company said it's disappointed by Disney's decision to no longer have Feige as a lead producer. God. I'm sorry, guys. It's late. The company said it's disappointed by Disney's decision to no longer have Feige as a lead producer on Sony's Spider-Man films, claiming it's because Feige's increased workload following Disney's acquisition of Fox. Disney has not commented on these claims, but also said it hopes the situation might change in the future. Deadline reported on Monday that Disney and Sony had failed to reach an agreement regarding their continued Spider-Man relationship. Disney just wanted an even split of the profit, but Sony said no. So, as the story plays out, I'll keep you guys updated, as I said. Comment below and let me think what you guys think about this whole thing. Do you think Sony will be able to pull off a Spider-Man franchise that doesn't turn into utter shit? And do you think Marvel movies would actually still be good if they took Spider-Man out at this point? Comment below, let me know, and we'll just see if this is gonna clear itself out and these two idiots companies just realize they're being stupid and just give Tom Holland back to Marvel. Alright, keep you guys updated. See you guys later.